Welcome to Live from Mississippi. Oh, give everybody a little bit of time to get in there. Glad y'all join us tonight. We're going to do a little bit of cooking, drink some coffee, tell some tales maybe. Never know what we're going to get into around here. We do have a fire going. So, what we got laid out here on the table. Uh-oh, I don't know what happened there, y'all. See if we get everything straightened out. I don't know why it keeps cutting out like that. Made sure I was hooked to the right internet. Sometimes it wants to link to my extension down at my shop, and it's a little slower, and I can watch stuff and get on the internet, but I don't know that I can stream live down there. It takes a good bit of internet to stream live. So, those of you, as everybody is slowly getting on, I got a beaver laying here. I've got grease getting hot over there. Y'all screen keep going black. Mine is. I don't know what the holdup is. Let me get my iPad. It really hadn't ever done that with me before. Let's see here. See if I can assess the situation. Oh, but anyway, what I was saying, I need to check let me turn my grease down just a little bit. It is about to get to the temperature I want it, and I ain't ready for that yet. I have cooked beaver several different ways. I have put it on the smoker in a pan and smoked it. I have barbecued it basically. I've cooked it on the grill several different ways. I have never cut it off the bone and just deep fried it. And down south, I don't know, I know all of y'all are not from the south, but we are well known for frying everything. I mean, from Twinkies to donuts to ice cream. If you can stick it in grease, they fried it down here. Some old redneck has done put it in a pot, just like this over here, full of grease and fried it. So, let me get my chat pulled up here. So I don't know. It keeps acting weird. So we're gonna do the best we can, y'all. They really ain't nothing I can do about it. If it gets so bad, we'll just have to go home and watch your Flintstones or something. You know, I don't know. Brody been in there watching Garfield. That may be what the matter is. So anyway, I have got flour, I've got salt, and Tony Chachere's in it. And what I've done right here, I have done cut up a bunch of pieces, and I'm fixing to go ahead and get it in the grease. So it's cut up in small giblets, I call them. So what it is, I took the front legs right here and cut it up. Now, I'll be honest with y'all, I've heard all kind of recipes about grinding it up, making burger, everything. I ain't really heard no whole lot of people talk about deep frying beaver. There may be a good reason for that. It may not be fit to eat. So what I thought we'd do is we'd all learn together tonight. I mean, might as well, huh? And y'all, I have found out, I shared a link at some point to these shakers. Somebody shared you can get them, I know, at Academy. I found some on Amazon, and I shared a link to some of my videos that I have used them in. I can't share it right now because we live. So. Yeah, we at about 300 degrees right there. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to cut some of the back strap out of this piece here. because I don't know exactly which part of the beaver is going to be the best. Usually this section is all I really get out of a beaver. And just so y'all can see, this is about what I got out of it, okay? I don't usually get all the ribs. I mean, there ain't really no point. There ain't a lot of meat once you get up past so far. So right here, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut in there like you would a deer. And I'm going to see about getting basically this back strap out, okay? Same principle. Roscoe was out here with me for a little while. He got to scratching at the door. I think he'd been following me around today. He's a little stove up and sore. So he's in the house. Here, I'll go get him in a little bit, let y'all see old Roscoe. And everybody knows, some of you may have missed the video, I don't know, but out here trying to chase vehicles down the road. These bones structure in these things right here are a little bit weird, y'all. So I'm basically gonna cut this up. I know y'all really can't see good. Let me bring this camera right over here. Maybe y'all can see right there. Y'all ain't gotta look me in the face no way. And I'm gonna just cut these up in like you would deer meat, or like I would deer meat, backstrap or whatever. Let me see if I can get the other side out. We're gonna get what we want out of this. I got another whole one. I've caught 2 beavers. We got this one out today. And I don't know if I caught this one last night or the night before. My buddy's been checking them and he didn't tell me he had to run to the doctor or do something yesterday and didn't get to check them. But it was submerged in the water and that water is very cold, so I'm real sure that it didn't. And I always check your meat. If it feels slimy or anything questionable like that, I don't fool with it. And this didn't. It had a good smell to it, so I was confident that it wouldn't hurt. He kind of like that Himalayan possum. Have y'all ever eaten Himalayan possum? I had never eaten no possum at all, but there's an old boy, he said he was going to eat him a Himalayan possum. Asked him, old boy sitting there and said, well, what is a Himalayan possum? He said, I found Himalayan in the road. So that's about the way this beaver was, but we have yet to catch one in a 330. Both of these that we have caught, we caught in them Duke 650s. Putting them on them drowners. Alright, that is a more beaver meat than we're going to eat tonight. I'm going to put this back in the cooler. I have got froze water bottles in there. I'm going to have to go get me a paper towel and put in my little old pan here in a minute. I'll do that and refill my coffee cup. My knife needs washing. I don't know. Doesn't drop down on me below 250. All right. Let me check on the comments right quick, see what y'all telling me. Woo, I can't go back and read all them. Bruce Mize asked, how's Roscoe doing after the accident? Roscoe's doing good. I sent, y'all ought to know, let me straighten this camera, it's driving me nuts, crooked. Uncle Sasquatch has been texting, checking her. Y'all know Uncle Sasquatch loves old Roscoe. And I sent him a video. Me and him was riding around on the buggy today. I have slowed down today and kind of, well, I don't want to lie to y'all. I ain't slowed down a lot. I slowed down compared to what I have the last 2 days. Good Lord, look at him. I'm Paul J, son. You can tell. I got it all over me. My daddy, if he cooks, son, it's all over him. I'm the same way. I can't help it. I don't know what that... I didn't realize that was like it. I got it honest. Get this wiped up. But anyway, old Roscoe he was riding around on a buggy with me today. You can tell he is sore. He's not at himself. He's gonna be all right. I mean, he ain't got nothing wrong with him, but he got run over. So I mean, imagine he's sore. So but he's gonna be all right. We just keeping an eye on him, taking it easy, making sure he's eating and drinking and such as that. But yeah, he's doing good. No, Rodney Dunaway, we frying this in that cancer cause and seed oil that everybody loves so much. I've been frying in it for I don't know how long. And it ain't killed me yet. It may before it's over with, but now I have got a 5-gallon bucket of lard. And I'm going, next time I fry fish, I'm going to get this out, save it, and then I'm going to fry my crappie in that lard and start experimenting. I hate to go to something totally different when I'm experimenting on food and I don't know how it's going to taste. Nancy Pierce said, what are you doing with that flour all over you? I was thinking about deep frying myself. I thought I'd be so good. I'd be better floured than fried. Let me go get me a paper towel and put this and fill my coffee cup up and I'll be right back. All right, one more thing I got to get out right here. I got a sack full of oyster mushrooms and I'm fixing to cook them. Let me see about getting some of this out though. I don't want to burn it up. I don't know how to tell if it's done. Boy, it's dark looking. And that is right on 250, so maybe it won't be too tough. I like to fry most meat like this at about 250. It seems to not get as tough. And I've had people say, oh, you can't cook nothing at 250. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing then. It makes them mad, I know. I know it does. Because that ain't how their grandpa used to do it. Oh. If that needle flops up, what thing will? I fried deer meat in this one time. Is all that's been fried in there. All right, so now, and we're gonna do these oysters the same way. Oh, y'all, look how big these things are. That's probably about all I need. I got a sack, a sack full of oyster mushrooms, y'all. And I ain't knock a dent what was in that tree. And so y'all know I still got a cooler slam full of deer meat. I mean, slam full. We have ground one whole deer up. I'm talking about every bit of it we ground up. Oh. And it seems like it's sprinkling rain out here. Good night, Mike. Thank you for joining us. I just looked down and see Mike Reed was fixing to go to bed. Thank you for tuning in. I get busy with what I'm doing, y'all, and I can't keep up with. I don't ignore nobody on purpose, y'all. I promise I don't. And it's hard to go through here and start calling names for everybody. But y'all must know that Uncle Sasquatch and Mike Reed, some of my heroes, they've been good to me for a long, long while. I try to always mention them when I see them on there. I watch their channels. I didn't want to fry no heap of that mushroom because it's just me going to eat tonight. I can't eat no whole lot of it. But I'll turn that grease on up when I go to frying it. Now, time to sample, ain't it? I don't need to lay that right there. Stick it right there. How about that? I wish I had soaked it in milk first so that flour would stick to it good. All the flour come off of it, which is to be expected, I think. I'm gonna be honest with you, it tastes about like any other fried meat, if you wanna know the truth. That tastes less like beaver than any way I've cooked it. Any time that I grill it, smoked it, barbecued it, whatever, I could eat it and tell, hey, that's beaver. This, a whole lot less. And all that is front leg. I'm curious as to how some of the rest of it is going to taste compared, because when I have grilled it or smoked it, the front legs was the least good part of it. So that's why I didn't just fry them front legs. I'm looking forward to them oyster mushrooms, though. I know they good. I have done some wet batter. I'm going to be honest with you. I am not a fan of cooking wet battered. I like to soak in a liquid and then go into flour, and it makes a good crust on there. Just dipping in a like hush puppy batter, I am not a fan of, y'all. A lot of people do it. Of course, that's why I say if that's the way you like to do it that way. I'm not crazy about it.
Oh, get out of the rain.
There he is. I throwed some scraps out there, and him and Roxanne's running around trying to check them out. You can tell he's hopping a little bit. Come here, Roscoe. You all right? Come here. They want to know about you.
He's not as fast as he was.
He ain't spry anymore. Not for a day or two, anyway. I'm cooking, and I am petting the dog. You scared me and Uncle Sasquatch both, I think, Roscoe. Yeah, it scared me bad, y'all. When I come around the corner of the house, I was back there skinning that first beaver when I heard it. And actually, I had a set of earphones on. I was listening to a book. And I heard it over all of that. And I took off running around there, and he was walking back up the yard, just kind of hopping and just screaming. And man, I thought it was bad, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. I thought it was bad. But the good Lord looked out for him. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Now, this right here looks a whole lot better. I think I got my grease back about right. Alright, now where's my... Yeah, y'all can see. I got my mushrooms right here now.
Hello. I'm standing in the corner. Me and Brody just got back from Dollar General.
They had to go get them something to eat since I was cooking beaver, if you want to know the God's honest truth. Don't let her lie to you. She
and
wouldn't...
we went to Little Caesars. Brody wanted a pizza.
Yeah, see there? See there? But that's all right, y'all. I don't make them eat nothing they don't want to. The lady at the post office, she watches my videos. One day she asked me, she said, does your wife eat all that stuff you cook? I said, no. She'll eat deer meat and grinnell. They all love grinnell. Now, honest to God, they ain't nobody around here that won't eat grinnell. My mama will leave me eat grinnell, and she don't eat nothing. My mama won't even eat a chicken egg out of the yard no more, hardly.
Roscoe, come over here to the fire.
I want to turn that grease up just a little bit.
Come here. Lucky's under there.
Yeah, well, she won't be under there long.
Come here, Lucky.
All right, let's try this. Let it cool off a little bit. Oh, good, there. That's a lot better than that front leg. Let's see what Roscoe thinks about him. Hot. He ate it. I thought he was finna spit it out. Walter Wilson said, what is grinnell? Grinnell is bowfin. Most people call it a trash fish, but I have perfected the art of cooking the fish. And it has nothing to do with cooking the fish. It's all about keeping them alive till you get home and ready to cook. Where is all that white flying around? I guess the ashes in the fire done log rolled over there. I can pull that out of there. Ooh, that's hot. I don't know why anybody'd grab that with their bare hand. But they will. I mean, just sure as the world. Leo said, do y'all have Nutra there? We do have Nutra rats. This duck pond that I fish in occasionally, at one time had a pile of them in there, and they were tunneling and digging in the dam, and they went down there, several different people at different times shooting them, and it all froze over one time, and they got on top of the ice, man, and they tore them up. So they about got rid of them, but I'll tell you what really thinned them out. When the alligators got in there thick, the Nutra disappeared. But now we do have some. We don't have as many as we do beavers and otters. At least not everywhere. Might need us some ketchup. Doggone if that ain't good there now. If you want my honest opinion, that back section, throw the front legs, all that mess away. They ain't even no use in getting them. If you scrapping for meat, get it. You can eat it. I can eat every bit of that. But if I'm looking for what's good, that back section, where's that? Missed that one. He picked it right on back up. He fielded that, you know. Grounded it, ain't that what they call it? I ain't much on baseball. I always had better stuff than to do than try to hit a ball with a stick. Randall Hayes said he could eat cardboard with ketchup. If you put Tony Satcheries on it, I'll eat it with you. Yeah. Enough Tony Satcheries make anything fitting to eat now. I'm watching these mushrooms real close. I'm trying to keep up with what color they turning. Get my little brown eye here. Y'all, I'm going to be honest with y'all. This little old light right here, I keep it in my pocket, that brownite light. They a little expensive, but doggone, that's been a handy light. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can see what you're cooking over here now. Come in. Yeah, y'all watch where you're walking there. There's a pile of wood down there. You be tripped over it. Look at there. I know that. Let me get it where the... There, you can kind of see right there. Oyster mushrooms. I know you can't see when I put the light right on it like that, so... The oyster mushroom is by far my favorite mushroom. Now, I love chanterelles. I have canned chanterelles. I'm threatening, there's so many over there on that tree. You can't find them oysters all year. I find them a lot more in the winter than I do any time else. And there's a pile of them over there, and they'll go bad pretty quick. I am threatening getting some and canning them as I start canning. I'm going to start canning deer meat this week, probably sometime tomorrow. I've got 2 or 3 things going on right now. It's supposed to be bad cold this week, so I was trying to gather up firewood. Well, I started putting my wall up on the north side of my building. I got tarps on this side. You see that green right there? Well, that's an old camouflage, cheap, Harbor Freight style tarp. I'm putting my tin up on my back wall. I started today and I'm over halfway. So I got to cut around the windows. I got to the windows, so I slowed down there. I think I'm fixing to pull these up. But so I got a lot going on, and I keep it that way. We'll talk more in just a minute. Let me get done what I'm doing, and then y'all, if you've asked questions, it's hard for me to get to them while I'm doing stuff. If you'll re-ask them when I get set down over here, I'll try to answer everything if you really want to know, you know. Go ahead and cut that fire off. I'm going to redo all of this at some point before long. I really want this over there and that over here. I just think it'd work better for what I'm doing. Ah. And I'm going to cover that up. Let me turn this bottle off. Oh, I'm going to reset up right over here. And I'm going to go get some ketchup and probably something else to drink too. So let me turn y'all around over here and lower this. Get my iPad over there. Give me just a second. All right, y'all, I went and got me some ketchup, and I put me some hot sauce in it. Oh, so y'all didn't get mad and run off while I was gone now, did you? Let me get this pulled up a little bit closer. I got a different tripod out here. This is Michelle's tripod. I didn't go down there and get mine out of the... That way I can see what I was going. Let me put another log on that where I ain't got to get right back up and do it. Get that fire in good. There we go. That's what I'm talking about now. Oh. We'll get all situated here directly. Better say grace. Dear Lord, we're so thankful for this food. We pray that you'd bless it to the nourishment of our bodies to give us strength and good health. In Jesus' name we ask you. Amen. Oh yeah, that's going to get so hot here directly. We ain't going to be able to sit here. But that's all right. Uh-oh, that was trying to block somebody. I don't know who. Charles said he wanted to order a Jonah. If you want a knife, email me or either get on Facebook and message me. Oh, yeah. That mushrooms is fine, son. Lord, somebody wanting to call. You can't call me while I'm live on here, fella. Ain't gonna happen. Y'all talking about calling me. I've had several people tell me, say, man, you hard to get up with. I know, and I'll tell you why. It ain't because I purposely ignore people, but the only way I can get anything done is to put that on silent, that phone, and I just check it along, and then I get so many of these. There ain't nothing makes me madder than to have to pull gloves off or lay what I'm doing down and go answer the phone, and they want to know if I want to extend my warranty on my car. It makes me so mad I could chew nails up and spit them out. So what I've done is my phone is set to just automatically silence a number that's not in my contact list. So if you're trying to get up with me and you know I don't have your number, you're going to have to leave a voicemail so I know to call you back, or either you're going to have to text me and say, hey, anyway, y'all, it's hard to quit eating them mushrooms now. Doggone, them mushrooms is a thing. Yes, sir. Yep. My screen's got so I don't know why it looks so dark up there, but it does. I'm feeding them dogs that front leg part. He ain't gonna eat that with that ketchup on there. Roxanne will. Well, old Roscoe can't catch. Neither one of them can, I reckon. Bailey asked, do we have a lot of wild hogs where I'm at? We do. I personally don't have them on my property all the time. They have got up here and got in our corn patches during the summer. But now, right now, while folks is deer hunting, if one pops his head out, somebody shoots it pretty right straight off. Down there where I'm trapping the beavers, there are a few around down there. As soon as deer season's over, I may go down there and try to hunt some of them just to see. All right. Um, so I see y'all commenting about at Back Swamp Outdoors. I don't see a comment on my page, on my feed. Oh, I do too. New to the channel, good evening. Good evening, Back Swamp Outdoors. I just seen everybody commenting. I was like, I missed it. I'm trying to look how everybody. So he asked, does the oyster mushroom taste like fish? It's hard to say. It really don't. It smells fishy. I guess I would say it does have a little bit of a fish, like a fried fish taste to it. And it has a little bit of a mushroom flavor, but not overpowering. For whatever reason, this is my favorite mushroom to cook and eat. Fried like this, by far the best. Everybody goes crazy over chicken of the woods. I have eaten chicken of the woods. I'm not crazy about chicken of the woods. Roxanne ain't real crazy about beaver, I don't think. She's eating it now. And mushroom by far the best thing him. That beaver good. That backstrap part of it's good though. So the only thing that I have not done with beaver is I've had several people say, grind it up and make burger out of it. I've yet to do that. While we are doing some grinding, I may cut some of these, what's left of it up, and grind it just to see what happens. Bailey asked, what is beaver pelts going for to buyers? I have no idea. As of about 4 or 5 years ago, when I was trying to sell a few hides, they was like $2. And a coon was like $3, and then the beaver got to where I think the last time they wouldn't even take them up at Duke's. So they're really not worth anything as far as a fur or a hide. They may have went up a little bit. I'm sure if you dry it, do a lot of work to it, you can get more. I was just taking them green up there and skinning them and carrying them up there. Randall Hayes asked, am I going to turkey hunt? Yes. Gonna see turkey hunting this year. Now, I don't necessarily know that I'm going to take a gun and try to shoot a turkey. I might. Depends on how it goes. But I have got several hunts lined up. Basically, where I'm just want to go and film them boys hunt and shoot them a turkey. That way, all I got to do is sit back and worry about staying hid and keeping the camera rolling. I ain't got to even tote a gun. If I'm going to film, I'd rather not even have a gun. That way, I can make a good video out of it and let them boys... That's the beauty of turkey hunting. I don't hear good. Hard for me to locate a turkey most of the time. But now, as far as the turkey hunting... I mean, I love turkey hunting. I just ain't real good at it because I can't hear. The next thing is I've never had anywhere really to turkey hunt at. So. But yes, we'll be going filming some turkey hunting. Beaver Vision. English Joe, I can call a turkey up. I have killed a couple of gobblers. Good Lord, that smoke coming right at me now. I have, if I can get a turkey in a field where I can see him and see how he's reacting, I can make him come to me. But now, I'm not good enough to be down here in these woods and talk to that turkey and just by what I hear know what he's doing. You know, a lot of them boys is good enough. If that turkey shuts up, well, they know he's either coming or going the other way, or I'm not that good at it. Martin Mells has said sitting close to a fire with a brass plate buckle is a bad idea. Don't ask how he knows. Oh, Lord. We used to watch somebody back up to a wood heater. Just stand there hugging up to it. Walk by and grab their britches and snatch them up tight against the back of the legs. And boy, they'd come a jig. Matt, it is time to start tomato seeds, honest to God. I may try to start some here before long, but I'm going to tell you, for me, personally, I don't get in a hurry about getting my stuff in the ground because I'm not one of them guys that, hey, I want to have the first tomato. I'd rather let the ground warm up to where when they start producing, they'll really produce. If you try to have the first tomato, now this is just my experience, I'm not going to say it works this way for everybody, but if I force that tomato to try to produce early, it don't produce a lot of tomatoes. You just don't get very many. So I don't mind having 2 or 3 plants out there that to try to get an early tomato. Or I mean, we all ready for a tomato sandwich by the time they start getting ready. But I hadn't had our growing season is changing somewhat. Man, I'll be well preserved here in a minute. But anyway, it's time to start them and your pepper plants. But I've got my building I'm working on. Once I get it walled up where I got some windows, I may can set some plants in them windows. I may start some then. I don't know. But it is time to start getting ready to do that. Woodstacker said he had beaver and rotel sauce tonight. Pretty good. I bet it was. Fitz said he started some in a Ziploc bag with a wet paper towel in about a week ago to see if the seeds were viable. I moved 8 that sprouted to soil Wednesday. So he's already getting started. Alan Walker said, what is the oldest piece of cast iron I've got? Lord, I don't know. I have bought a couple. I really don't know how to date it myself. I'm not a cast iron expert. I love to cook in cast iron. That pot you just seen me fry that meat in and these mushrooms was my dad's. Had it for a long time. He gave it to me years ago when I first moved up here so I would have something to fry fish in. I was trying to fry in an aluminum pot thing, and he said, son, let me use this. And I've been using it ever since. And then I have bought some new pieces. I have bought some at pawn shops. No idea. I have found some that was all but thrown away. So I really don't know. One of my favorite pieces is a China-made piece. I got a skillet hanging up there. It has been the best. And the reason is I have cooked everything you can think of in it on wood stoves in that shed down there out here over a fire I've took it camping, and it's been a jam up good skillet. So I know people, boy, if you tell them it's a China-made skillet you're using, oh, it ain't no good. But I beg to differ, it's been a good one for me. But I don't know what the oldest piece is. I really don't. As far as I know, I don't have any Griswold. So I think everything I've got is Lodge. And then some of it I ain't even seen a name on it. I hadn't researched it to try to see what it is. Beaver, I have some tomatoes every year that don't do good, but I have chalked mine up to location, soil, and how much light they getting. Right now, I got a row of cabbages down there. And for 2 years in a row, them on that end down there have stayed real small. And what I think it is them 2 big oak trees, sawtooth oaks, I think I got my garden in a bad place with them trees. I planted them trees there like an idiot. I did. But I'm threatening moving my garden operation up on top of the hill. The only problem is up on top of this hill dries out real bad later in the year. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I may have to. I hate to cut them pine trees. I mean, oak trees. I may have to. Never heard of that, Matt? A garden peach? Well, I'm about full, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. I have put a hurting on that. Me and the dogs have. Roscoe, get you another piece. Roxanne, get you another piece. I'm finna set this over here and be done with it. All right, straighten this camera up. Every time I turn around, that thing's crooked. Drives me nuts. So, big beef and parts whopper. My buddy up here, Mr. Mike Reeves, he likes parts whoppers. The big beef seemed like it outperformed everything for me, in my honest opinion. I grew up on Better Boy tomatoes. I love the flavor of Better Boys. I mean, when I just grab one off a vine and just bite into it like an apple, let that juice run down the corners of my mouth, drip on my shirt, make a mess. I like a Better Boy tomato. But they do like Deaver was talking about, little naughty tomatoes. I never could make them get big. They the world's worst to get blight all up and down the vine. So I don't know. The big beef has outperformed anything here for me. Now I love that big old hillbilly potato leaf. They grow the biggest tomatoes. Tell me, Shepard, about how long is the wait on a Jonah knife? Somewhere right now around 3 weeks, give or take a little. It has a lot to do. If I would go out there and just do nothing but work on knives, I could get them in 2 weeks easy. My problem is I've got my building I'm working on. I'm gathering firewood. I got deer meat I'm processing. I'm done deer hunting. Deer season's over for me. We still got deer season to the 31st, but I got more deer meat than I got places to put it. And I have got to make room in my freezer right now to put all this deer meat. So I'm keeping eyes on it and processing it as I can. It's like tonight, I really need to be over there processing deer meat. So I'm going to can a whole bunch of it so I don't have to put it in the freezer. So I'm probably going to get out tomorrow and get 2 or 3 hindquarters cut up off of that one deer. And I'm probably going to can every bit of it if I can. So Jeffrey Roach asked, how do you order a knife? Email me or either message me on Facebook. I can't message people on Facebook until you message me first for whatever reason. So get on Spirit of the Outdoors. And I'll put my email address in here just so you get it spelt right. Give me a second. Now that is uppercase in here. It's all lowercase, which I think it don't matter if you want to know the truth. But if you'll email me or either message me on Facebook, either one, I can keep up with them too. If I start taking them from a broad array of different places, I lose the messages. And there's times I get so many messages, if I open it up and I'm not where I can write it down, well, by the time I get back there, I have trouble finding them. I know I have lost some orders that way. People that thought, hey, yeah, he told me he was writing me down, and it's been 6 months. And y'all, I can't help it. I'm sorry. It's hard to keep up with all this. Well, one old boy, I'm trying to get a website built. My daughter's like, well, Daddy, I can build you a website. She said, but I don't know how to do this ordering part on there. She said, somebody's going to have to learn to write code to fix it where they can get on there and place an order and add all these options you want. Because what I wanted to do is I wanted to fix it where you go in there and say, hey, I want a Jonah, or I want a Gideon, or I want a Daniel, or a patch knife, or whatever other knives I decide to make. And once you pick out this design, then you could say, okay, and I want this wood for a handle. And you'd have all these lists of options of woods that I have available. And say, I want this handle. And then you could say, okay, I want to add liners to it. Put them red liners inside it. Or either I want to add a lanyard hole, because at some point I'm going to go just all bare knives. And then you can add a lanyard hole to any of them that you want to. And it'd be like $10 more. But I'm going to have to start charging for all that stuff because of the material cost. Just to be able to order that stuff and the time extra it takes to add it to a knife. And it's not a major big thing, and really $10 ain't nothing when you're ordering a knife for the most part. A lot of people think, oh, you just nickel and dime and everything, but I mean, when you're working and you're doing stuff and you're trying to make a living at it, you got to do it a certain way to be, good Lord, why can't that smoke go the other way? This thing refuses to draft. I'm about ready to, if I had the money, I'd pull everything out from under here and I'd pour a slab in there and I'd have a brick fireplace built to draft right tomorrow. But old poor boy can't do that. So I'm sitting here, whoop, son, I didn't see you, man. And I can't see nothing. You're going to have to get over here and sit down. You all right? Oh, I put my foot down on him, scared him to death, or me too. Ah, he's all right. He's all right. Come here. We're going to have to get out of this smoke. I can told you that. Yeah, I got to move, y'all. Hang on. All right. I like sitting over there where you can see that fire. Now y'all can look at Brody's four-wheeler. But I can't breathe that smoke no more. Good Lord. Folks breathe that mess on purpose. I used to, but I can't do it no more. Fitz, we'll see you next time. Them phone chargers is hard to keep up with, especially if you got young'uns. They'll tote them off in a New York minute. Diana, that dog gets more petting than she can shake a stick at. She likes to go out there and waller in that mud, though. Randall Hayes said he loved his Jonah knife. The scabbard is top notch also. Big Buck Getter said he thought that was a smoke alarm. He's headed over at the door. He's ready to go in now. Come here, Roscoe. You ain't soiled up at me. Y'all know what soiled up means. Come here. Come right up, man. You all right, buddy? You sore, ain't you? I just barely put my foot on him, but boy, he hollered. Scared you. Thought you was getting run over again. You sore, ain't you? Yeah, I don't know where she's at. She's hiding around there. Greg, yes, we're going to do some squirrel hunting. Right now, though, I'm a little leery about getting in the swamp and walking around because you can't wear orange and squirrel hunt. And if you get down there on that public land where the squirrels are, some of them silly folks down there will shoot you, you know? I mean, on my private land, I can slip around, but now I'm going to be honest with y'all, I ain't seen no squirrels. I've been back here 2 or 3 times, and I ain't seen no squirrels. There ain't nothing for them to eat. We ain't got no acorns. and I don't know what they living off of. We ain't got no ducks this year. I went in that swamp and I paddled around areas that they should have been ducks in that backwater. I did not see not one duck. I asked my neighbor down there, I said, you got any ducks down there on your place? Nope, not one duck. And I got a buddy that there's a few ducks around, but they not many because they've tried to duck hunt and they've shot at what few they saw, so I don't know. Beaver, it's raining out here on us. This tin roof, it'll put you slam to sleep. Everybody gonna be snoring here in a little bit. It is raining though. Nancy Pierce, you know I hadn't really thought about dehydrating them mushrooms. I dehydrated some chanterelles one time and we never eat them. I don't know. I don't know if I didn't know what to do with them or I come near using them if I can them. And the reason is you take that and we'll can them in one of them little pint. Roscoe's clawing at the door trying to get in. Let me go let him in the house. Come on. Let him go get in the bed in there. Here's where he wants to get. But if I can them, we can pour them into something you would use mushrooms for, and they work good for that. So I'm gonna can them. Thank you, Alfred Hayes. Martin said, did the knee brace help? I don't know. I'll tell you what that knee brace is good for. My wife, I missed church the weekend that I heard it on a Saturday a couple weeks ago. And that next Sunday, I didn't go to church because, I couldn't hardly walk on it. I was just hopping around. I just stayed off of it for the most part. Well, they give me a prayer cloth. My wife went down there and they prayed over a prayer cloth, and they got Brody one too. They prayed over two of them, and she had one pinned to his shirt because he'd been dealing with some stuff. And well, I put that knee brace on and I poked that prayer cloth right down inside that knee brace so it works good for holding that prayer cloth. But now what I did do is like yesterday I put it on when I was over there moving that firewood around. And I did it for the simple fact if I stepped in all them sticks and junk and one of them rolled a little bit, keep from tweaking that knee again. And I did fine yesterday, but now I didn't try to run wide open like I normally do over there. I took my time and I got about a half a load, really and truly. And y'all can see I got this stocked back up. You can see it was down to about right there. Is what we was down to. So all this I busted today and stacked it all in there. So I'm gonna try to go before it's too late, before this ice comes in and get some more. But right now pressing thing on my mind is I want to get that north wall put up because when it gets down as cold as it's gonna get next week, I need to be here working on knives some at least. And I'll have a fire rolling in that down yonder, and I want to be able to block that cold wind from just blowing through that shop. So I'm going to get that walled up. Now once that's walled up, if I can get my hands, I think my brother-in-law has got some windows up there. I'm going to go try to get some windows from him. Because before I put wood up on this other wall, I have got some rough cut wood that we had sawed at the sawmill that I'm going to put up on this end over here. But I want to put windows in that as well. And the reason I want the windows is two things: to let light in so it ain't so dark in there. And then in the summer when it gets bad hot, I can open that back up. So reasons for all of that. Backwoods homestead from somewhere in the deep south. Alfred Hayes said Jason Willie done killed all the ducks. They may have. Somebody's put a hurting on them, but I'll tell you what it is. There's no acorns in this swamp down here for them this year. And the years that them acorns get washed up in them drifts, man, the ducks will be all in that backwater just by the hundreds. This year they ain't none. And so my duck hunting's gonna be slim to none. And I may get to shoot some a little later on, get down there and walk them creeks, but we're gonna fast run out of time. Duck season will be over. Kathy Deals said try some goldenrod salve. I have never heard of making a salve out of goldenrod, but I've got some comfrey salve. I've got some cayenne pepper pain salve. I have put several different salves on there, and they seem to help. But now my knee is not bothering me right now. It ain't hurting at all. My fear though is I need to slow down and let whatever's wrong heal. It was not arthritis. I know everybody thinks, oh, that was arthritis. That's getting older. No, I had a bad four-wheeler wreck when I was 14, and I tore some stuff in there. And it's not been right ever since. I've had knee surgery on it one time already. And I can rub right here now and feel, and I've got a knot on this inside right here that's not over here on this other knee. So everything is not like just 100% like it should be with this knee. So what I done is I turned it a little bit. And I don't know exactly what I did. I didn't hurt it bad. I just got it hurting a little bit. Well, then I was gathering up firewood. I had some big old pine limbs blowed down out here close to the road. And I was sawing them up, and we've got a sloped bank. It ain't real steep, but it's, sloped pretty good. And I was on the edge of it, picking up, toting them. I sawed everything up in short sticks like this long to put in that wood stove down there, pine limbs. They'll burn in that. And I stepped on a stick on the edge of that hill, and it rolled with me, and I made that knee even worse. So what I had done to it is twisted or pulled or tore something because it shot up the side right up here. So it wasn't just arthritis. Now, I'm sure my age is playing a huge factor in the stuff, but it's not like, well, it's just arthritis. So I don't know. It's got some damage done to it, but now it'll get better. Somebody sent me a link, I think Dwayne did, and made a pain spray. I had never heard of this, but they took 2 avocados and put them in, was it rubbing alcohol? They took 2 avocados. I'll have to pull it back up. He sent me the information. And they made a spray to spray topically on the outside. I think they put 2 avocados in and rubbing alcohol, I think. And so, not avocados, but the avocado pits. And they put 2 of them, and I don't know if they crushed them or if they just put them in their hole. But they put it in a bottle and with a sprayer on there, and then you sprayed it on your leg, and they said the pain would go away. He said he read through and said there was hundreds of people commenting under this that was saying, yeah, we tried this, it works, it really works. So I may have to experiment with that. I'm not a fan of avocados, but we'll have to try. Frank said avocado seeds and alcohol, grind the seeds. So there you go. He said it worked. I don't know. I may have to try it and see. There's Mr. Tommy Litchfield. They say, Nancy said that is an Amish remedy. So I had never heard of it. Alfred Hayes said put some WD-40 on it. I have heard of putting WD-40 on it, and they say that actually works good, especially if it is arthritis. But now I've got pokeberry tincture I made out of the berries, and if I'm dealing with arthritis or certain things, I'll take that. And usually when I'm dealing with arthritis is when I have done a lot of hard work, like up and down ladders and something strenuous on my knees. do a lot of climbing and stuff, or if I've done a lot of walking, and what'll happen with me, I'm fine long as I'm active. But then when I sit down like now and get still, my knees will start locking up. Well, that is arthritis to me, in my opinion. I may be wrong, but for then, like that WD-40 and the pokeberry tinctures and stuff like that works on that. English Joe said for a minute we was making guacamole. I am not a fan of that guacamole. Now, I have eaten some that was better than others. I just don't really like it, so I'm not no big guacamole fan. A lot of them like it. My wife likes it. Huckleberry, how are you? Raymond Rogers. Raymond Rogers has been down there doing some dog hunting, y'all. He sent me some pictures. They have been shooting some bucks down there now. Raymond got him a good deer this week. Bruce Mize said you can do the same thing with apricot pits. Somebody may want to try that. Larry Alexander said them Arthur and Ritus boys is hard to deal with. Yeah, they are. They tough to deal with. They'll drive you nuts. I know a lot of people. I prayed for a lady the other day at church. She's got it in her hands and up her arm, giving her fits. And I know I've known several people that get it so bad in their hands that they really couldn't even do nothing anymore. I think Uncle Sasquatch deals with it a good bit. I think I've heard him mention it. Back Swamp Outdoors, good night. Go get you a big one tomorrow. Mike Harris said, what's the humidity like during the summer? Man, our humidity is what is so bad here. And the further south you go, the worse it gets. The closer you get to the Gulf Coast, the worse it is. I mean, South Louisiana, South Mississippi, South Alabama, and South Georgia, Florida, man, it is ungodly tough. And what it does, it's not that the temperature is so high that it's like, oh, it's so hot here. It's that you just feel everything so much more. People don't realize it, but when it gets cold here in the South and it's down like now in the 20s and 30s, it is bone chilling cold. And the reason is because of the high humidity. It's usually always the lowest we averagely get is 50 to 60 in our drier times of the year. In the spring and early summer when it's been raining, man, it'll be 90 and 100%. And man, you walk outside, you can't even hardly breathe. I'll catch myself gasping for breath. So our humidity is what's the killer. It ain't that, hey, it's so much hotter here that you fry an egg on your car. Yeah, it gets hot, you can touch stuff, but if you can walk out and breathe, I can deal with it. But I don't know, it's hard to function in it. And sweat, my Lord, you sweat like crazy, him. I like the cold better. I'm like Huckleberry. He said, I'm built for the cold. It ain't that I've got a lot of insulation on me, but what done me in is the heat strokes. I had several heat. Now, when I say a heat stroke, I didn't go to the hospital. I didn't just pass slam out to where I come to in a little bit. But I got that where everything starts twinkling and you quit sweating and you get dizzy and you can't. And I wind up just laying down out in the yard. It was when I was doing metal roofing in the summer. One year I had one. The next year I had two. The third year I had four. And I was working for my uncle and I was like, this is it for me. This is my last summer doing it. I've got to find something to do or else I'm going to be dead. And what it is your body changes when you have one. It's scientifically proven that it re-triggers stuff in your body. And now when I get older, my blood thins and all of that stuff, I'll probably have a different attitude. But right now, I'd rather deal with this kind of weather, cold, let it snow. I can put a jacket on. I mean, I don't want to be cold. I can deal with the cold. But when it gets so hot out here, you can't function. You can't take enough off and make it better. I can put coveralls on and plenty clothes and get out in the cold and do a lot of stuff. Now, it makes it difficult to do everything. I totally understand. But I can mitigate the cold a whole lot better than I can the hot. Now, the thing I can't deal with is when I go to watering chickens and it stays below freezing for about a week. All them water buckets is froze and it gets difficult to water a chicken then. But anyway, we all got to learn to deal with what we got to work with, and we don't get to change it. The good Lord made the weather, and we just got to take what we got and move forward. I feel better if I complain about it a little bit, you know. I think most of us is that way. Appalachian explorers from Cedar Creek Lake on a rainy Friday night. Pickle juice keeps you from a heat stroke. That's probably why I never did have one back in my alcohol drinking days. I drank a lot of pickle juice back in them days every morning. I ain't drank no pickle juice in quite a while, though. Richard T. ain't like me. He said he'd rather have the heat and the humidity. I know a lot of people that's like that. Fat Man Adventure said, I'm in South Mississippi and there's times when it's so damp from humidity you almost need gills to breathe. I'll second that. I'm right here with you on that, hand. I'm telling you. Algernon, hadn't seen you in a while. Huckleberry want to know when we're taking Roscoe squirrel hunting. Well, Huckleberry, after he got run over the other day, we're going to have to let Roscoe get well before we go. I'm wanting to do some 22 squirrel hunting, so I tell y'all what I did. I did something this week I ain't never done before. I bought a sack of corn, and I put it out down here at the end of a lane where I could walk out and see it, so I could shoot me a couple of squirrels back there, because I got one or two in there in the freezer. And I need a couple more to go with it so I can have a squirrel cooking sometime. And so I need to get me a couple of more. And I got another 22 I'm wanting to hunt with. My little cricket, I'm wanting to do some sniping them with it. I think it'll do the job. Fat Man Adventures, I think me and you in the same shape. When I had that heat stroke, it changed me. Backwoods Homestead, where's the missus tonight? She is in yonder. She I don't know what she's actually doing. They had went to town, her and Brody, and if I'm outside doing this, she ain't keen on staying out here with me too much. But she came out for a little bit. I was cooking beaver tonight, and she didn't want no beaver. Said she wouldn't eat no beaver. Frank Lynn said the high in Pennsylvania is 15 tomorrow. I'm going to be honest with you. I like the cold, but the high of 15, that is tough now. I'm going to be honest with y'all. And I know all of y'all that's had snow on the ground for 2 weeks is sick of it. I think I can deal with the snow better than I can the heat. I don't want to have snow just all the time. I think I could deal with it all the time. I would learn to, handle it. But I just would like to have some snow. We don't get much of it here. And so I'm hoping we get about 6 inches of it. And I hadn't even watched Ryan Hall to see how much they predicting down here, but I'm ready for a round of it myself. Uncle Sasquatch been putting that fancy chicken in the bed. Appalachian explorers said you should come up here to Cedar Creek Lake and do some crappie fishing this spring. Well, let me tell you all about crappie fishing. Nancy said can some of that beaver and see what it tastes like. We might, I don't know. So I had a company reach out to me. It's been a month or so ago now, and Power Queen and wanted to send me a lithium deep cycle battery for the boat. I said, okay, send it on. So they sent it. I've had it here for several weeks. It's been so cold, I hadn't wanted to crappie fish. So I went out there today and I filmed installing that in the boat. So here's my plan for tomorrow. I got a lot to do tomorrow, but I want to put that boat in and get their video film. So I may go put it in my neighbor's pond up here, see if I can get his crappie to act right, get us a crappie fishing video done tomorrow, and test this trolling motor battery out, see how well it works on the War Eagle. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and that battery is so much lighter. Power Queen, from what I can tell, they're made in USA batteries, I think, from what I looked up now. So hopefully that coming out pretty soon, if I can get that filmed tomorrow. But I've got 10 I'm putting up on the back wall. I want to get that finished, so probably going to get up early in the morning and try to work on knocking that out if it ain't raining. And if it is raining, I may knock it out anyway. You know, it's got to be done. So I've got to do a lot of cutting on where I got to that window. So if it don't take me all day, I'm going to do that. And then I still got some firewood I need to go at least cut a little more for putting down there around the knife shop where I got some wood in there to burn, because I'm going to need it next week if I stay down there. But I'm going to need that wall up bad too. Deaver said nobody ever falls out because they got too cold. If they do, they one and done. Yeah, y'all are talking about Uncle Sasquatch's fancy chicken. He's got a umbrella cockatoo, he says. He calls it a fancy chicken. You hear in some of his videos every now and then, it'll get tuned up. It'll go to carrying. It's worse than my chickens crowing out there. I'm slowly thinning my chickens out. I'm weeding out some. I get rid of a few along, and every now and then one will get sick and die, and I'm thinking, man, what a blessing. I ain't wanting to get them, but Larry Alexander, I seen something was on fire, but I couldn't tell what it was. I just seen a brief post on Facebook, and I wasn't on there long. Philip said, did I throw the waders away? No, they sitting by the garbage can under the carport. I hadn't thrown them away yet. I'll tell you what's on my mind. There is a product that you dip your pliers handles in called Plastidip. I really think it's probably the best option for fixing them. Somebody said shoe goo was good. They're a good pair of waders. I really hate to throw away, and when I say good pair, they were expensive at the time. They're not good now because they filled up with water, obviously. So I'm threatening, trying to see about fixing them. I don't know. I hadn't put them in the trash yet. D. McGlinchey said, how can I buy a knife? Email me or message me on Facebook. Spirit of the Outdoors Facebook page. I check that messenger pretty regular. I never check my personal Facebook. Don't get on my personal page trying to get up with me. I don't ever even look at it. Or you can email me, justinpeden@gmail.com. If you scroll back through the comments, I posted it in the comments earlier. If you need to know how to spell it. But just email me, and what I do is I write your name down, and it takes about 3 weeks. When I get to your name, I'll message you. I'll email you a invoice, and you get online and pay it with a card, and then I'll start building the knife, and it takes me a day or two to build it, depending on how that all works out. Usually, I'll try to collect payment on 2 or 3 at a time, and as they pay for them, then I'll go to working on them and building them, because face it, sometimes you try to collect payment and they're like, oh man, this come up, I ain't got the money no more. And that's fine. I just don't want to have built a special order knife for somebody of a certain type, and then, usually I don't have no trouble selling them, especially if they sycamore. But anyway, that's kind of how I'm going about it. Jeff wanted to know about the four-wheeler wreck. Big Buck Getter said use Flex Seal on the waders. Elisha said say hi to Middle Tennessee, and I'll sub. Well, hey, Middle Tennessee. Michelle Thomas Sellers, I went down there. Michelle has been making some fat bottom mugs. I helped her make one the other day. They are some being made. Now, some of them have already been ordered and paid for on her website. But she has taken orders on the fat bottom mugs at southernmudpottery.net. If you want one, get on there. Marshall said the possums is killing his chickens. Jerome Smith, good night. All right, so somebody had asked, Claude had asked about, or Jeff Claudel had asked about the four-wheeler wreck. When I was about 14, me and my neighbor down the road, it was my best friend growing up, we had matching Honda 300s. Mine was tan, his was green. They were both 1995 models. And they would do about 55 miles an hour, 53 to 55, give or take. And they were two-wheel drive, and man, we stayed on them. I'm talking about we put them through everything it'd go through. And we didn't go nowhere that we wouldn't wide open go in there. And we rode up and down these paved roads out here and these back roads, dirt roads everywhere all the time. We was all over. We shouldn't have been, but we was. This is back in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. We was doing all this. Obviously, once we got the new four-wheelers, I had a Yamaha before I had the Honda. So mid-90s to the late 90s, we was all everywhere over here on a four-wheeler. And we had 3 of them at the time. I had my buddy down here, he was on his neighbor. Well, we just had the 2 the day that we had the wreck. And we had some buddies over here, they were brothers. And both of the brothers were on the back of the four-wheelers with us. So I had a boy on the back with me. My best friend, he had the other brother on the back with him. And we're racing. And we got to a stop sign over there, and he was ahead of me because he had left before I did. And when he started out across that stop sign, well, I knew he was going, they wasn't coming, and I blowed through it and passed him. And going down that hill, I was looking back, and I turned around, and we started into the curves, and there was some pretty sharp S-curves, heavily wooded down. I mean, the ditch just tapered off to trees coming up all the way down through there. Fairly sharp curves, not bad sharp. You could go through them at 50 miles an hour on a four-wheeler, no problem, paying attention. And there was a squirrel run out in the road, and I tried to dodge it, and I looked back to see if I hit it. And when I turned back around, I had drifted over into the edge of the road, and it was in February, and there was pine straw and leaves all in the shoulders of the roads. And when I got over in the edge of that, well, it wouldn't turn no more. Well, brakes wasn't a thing, you know, for the most part. And we left the road running 50 something miles an hour. I was trying to get in the brakes, but we were still wide open. And we left the road and hit a bank. The four-wheeler flipped upside down and hit another tree upside down, and it mangled a Honda 300. I had 20 stitches here, 9 stitches here, broke my leg right up here, and crushed this knee. I had to have knee surgery on it. They gave me 3 units of blood. I was in traction with this leg for 3 days. I stayed in the hospital a week and a half till they got everything worked out. They did a lot of CAT scans on my head. I probably still ain't right to this day from it for the most part. So if you wonder what's wrong with me, it's probably that lick to the head why I'm crazy as a bat. But I was 14 years old and recovered from it. A year later, I had knee surgery, and I've got pictures of that four-wheeler, and of course, at that time, I said, I won't never ride another four-wheeler, ain't doing that no more. And then I got a picture of us, me and my buddy that was on there with me. We got all of our crutches bungee strapped on the front of that four-wheeler. We got out here and wired all them wires because it stripped everything off the handlebars, warped the handlebar. You had to drive it like, you know, crooked like this. It looked like you was turning all the time to go straight. And I finally got all that straightened out, but it crushed the gas tank in. You know, I had them old metal gas tanks. Well, it caved it in, my leg did. And my buddy, it broke his leg below the knee in 3 places. It broke the front bone once and the backbone twice, or vice versa. I can't remember. He had 3 separate breaks below the leg. And so we had a tough go of it, but we was young and stupid and recovered. And so wonder it hadn't killed us, if you want to know the truth. Good Lord was looking out for us, or I probably wouldn't be here today. But that is the story of the four-wheeler wreck. David's struggling to teach his rooster to crow. I got one out there, David is struggling to crow. He gets a and he don't get the last out, you know, he just goes I get tickled at him when he crows. He's a young game rooster out there. Tommy, I'm gonna try not to do it no more, but now I can't say what I ain't gonna do. I done learned from that. Hike with Mike. Chilly in Florida tonight. I think we're going to have a chilly next couple of days, the way it sounds, y'all. Huckleberry, I'm trying to take it easy on that Pioneer. I unloaded the Ranger today. I've got a Honda Rubicon set down there I've had for a long time. And that Honda Rubicon, I bought it to hunt and fish on. I grew up some. Now, we did a lot of mud bogging at the time, but I didn't do nothing to it. It's factory other than I put a set of vampires on there. And that's it. It's full-time, four-wheel drive. I had a 2x4 unlock where you could manually take it out of four-wheel drive. You had to replace the front drive shaft. But for some reason, I can't get it to run. It's like it's got too much compression. And I can't get it to, you can't hardly pull, crank it, or nothing. So I'm probably going to take it and get somebody here before long to fix it because I do want it running. Really, it's what I want to carry up to the deer camp next year at deer season and just leave it up there. I'll park it in the woods somewhere or park it behind the camp or something and leave it up there where I ain't got to pull a buggy back and forth every time I go up there. But I'm going to get it running and it'll go. But yeah, I'm trying to keep everything between the ditches. And I got the Ranger unloaded today. I had it out there on the trailer and I'm fixing to start putting parts on it and try to slowly get it back to functioning condition for the most part. And then not use it as much and see if it lasts longer. I don't want to destroy that Honda. I'm on, and I'm talking about like the plastics. I don't want to scratch it all up, limbs sticking out everywhere. Cause when I take a notion, I want to go somewhere. By George, I'm going. There ain't no, will this make it or not? It's, well, let's see, you know. But I don't want to destroy it, so I'm trying to take it easy on it. But now my days of going everywhere wide open is about over with. The only time I drive too fast is when I get on a 4-lane highway. Now my foot gets heavy then. But around here on 2-lane roads, I'm the guy riding looking for deer and looking at cows and looking at gardens and all this stuff. And I'm driving 45. I mean, when I get in the truck and riding, that's the only time I get to sit down and rest. I'm taking advantage of it, Han. I ain't in no hurry to get to more work. I'll work hard enough when I get there, dude. Let me take my time getting to it. John Thomas asked, what about the Bronco? We seen that they had moved the Bronco up there. I hadn't called up there, I'll be honest with you. Right now I ain't got the money to pay for it if they got it fixed. So I just hadn't called to see if they have fixed it. I think they probably have. I don't know. They've moved it, in other words. I need to call and find out. I do want my Bronco back. Charles Kemp said hi from Delaware. It's cold up here too. I bet it is up there. Good Lord. Huckleberry, I called Current. Tupelo had a better deal. I would check with Tupelo. I drove from Philadelphia to Tupelo to buy mine. They had a good selection. Talk to Connor at Tupelo. He'll treat you right. He knows what he's talking about. He knows everything going on up there. They're under new ownership, so they're trying to get their prices better than they used to be. I'd call Tupelo before I bought anything anywhere if I was going with Honda. And they had a showroom floor full of motorcycles and dirt bikes and four-wheelers and everything else. So I would check with them before I just bought and see. All right, well, Mike, them highway patrols, I don't like them getting behind me. Usually my tag's been out a couple of years. Right now mine's good, but I think it expires this month. I need to check and see. I ain't far from being able to get an antique tag on that '06 model Chevrolet. We got a few more years to wait, but won't be long. Backwoods, my dad's got a Kubota that's diesel, and his won't do 20 mile an hour. And that was my reason for not wanting one. But now, as far as durable, he's been running his. He got it about the time I got that Polaris, and it's been a way better machine than that Polaris. Now, I could do more on the Polaris than he can it. In other words, that Kubota's heavy. If he gets in wet ground, it'll get stuck easy. Slow, but now you talking about pull, you hook that Kubota to a log, son, this pulling it. I mean, there ain't nothing pull like that Kubota. But I hadn't maxed out the Honda. I hadn't really hooked it to nothing to see how much power it had and all. I ain't done nothing but haul deer and beavers out with it so far. I'm about ready to haul a mess of crappie. I did pull that War Eagle boat with it one day. I think I'm going to pull it again tomorrow if I get a half a chance. Depends on what the weather's doing, I reckon. Jeff, Claudel, Mom and Dad are doing good, is best I can tell. If there's anything wrong with them, they won't let it slip. But they doing good, honest to goodness they are. I'll be honest with you, Larry said he's got an older Jeep he's been working on. I'm going to tell y'all my honest opinion before you buy a side-by-side. If it wasn't for this management area back here that I spend a lot of time on, that you have to have an ATV to get on it, I would buy a Jeep. I'd buy a 4-cylinder 5-speed Jeep, and it'd do everything I need to do. And I could go anywhere in the woods I wanted to go with it, because I'd make it go. Or either I could drive it up and down the road with a tag on it, go to the store and everything, and with a 4-cylinder, get good gas mileage. It would be the ideal way. That's what I would own. But the law here says you've got to have an ATV to get on this management area. So to get to my grinnell fishing spots cost me $20,000. And I was thinking about this today, y'all. My wife got on that Honda and went and loaded pine straw up. We strawed some chicken pens. I didn't film all that today. But we strawed some chicken pens. And I come up here and got a little of this firewood. I had cut up all the big stuff and piled it up here. And the little short pieces, I had a few odd and ends of them I'd cut. I just throwed them out over here. Well, I loaded all that up and hauled it down yonder to the other part of the shed, keep from having to tote it. And I got to thinking about it, and I said, you know, I got a $20,000 wheelbarrow. That's what I got. That's the truth behind it. I got a $20,000 wheelbarrow. Yeah. I'd get a Jeep. If I didn't have a good reason to have an ATV side by side, I'd buy me a Jeep. I promise I would. Backwoods Homestead, for a fact, I know there's a boy over here got a brand new, I don't know what size it is, but it's a Polaris Ranger, and it's one of them. I mean, it's got doors and glass windows that roll up, got a heater in it, glass windshield. That joker, I promise you, is as big as my pickup truck. And I thought about, and I asked him, I said, well, what'd you give for it? He said, well, I traded 2 old ones I had in on it and financed $30,000. And I said, do what? He said, well, the sticker was $50,000. Hand. I mean, it's his money. He can spend it on whatever he wants to. I don't care. It don't matter about it. If I spend $50,000 on a buggy, I done lost my mind. I ain't spending $50,000 on no new truck. That's why I'm driving an '06 model. I can put a lot of parts on it. But I got a good truck. And the only reason I bought another new buggy is because putting new parts on this Polaris wouldn't solve it nothing. I was just keep putting new parts over and over, same parts over and over and over, and I just mentally couldn't keep dealing with that. I mean, it was a never-ending cycle that I couldn't see an end to. Now, if I'd have thought, hey, I'm going to eventually put one on here that works and lasts forever, well, I would have been okay with that. It wasn't that. It's just I done fixed it 6 or 7 times, and it still keeps tearing right back up. I saw, I'm not going to go through this the rest of my life. I'm fixing to buy something else that I can deal with where I ain't got to worry about this from now on. And then when I get that paid for, I'm going to buy the boat I want. Maybe the good Lord will bless me and YouTube will just skyrocket and I'll start making money hand over fist to where I can't spend it fast enough and I'll go on and buy the boat I want. Or maybe one of y'all got more money than you can shake a stick at and you'll buy me that nice boat I want. I'll give away, if somebody will buy me the boat I want, I'll do a giveaway on that Skeeter I got. And it's a good boat. I mean, it's a real good boat. If I get another boat that I want, I don't have no use for it. Anyway, none of that's probably ever going to happen. But hey, an old country boy can dream, can't he? Yeah. Oh. I think a lot of these buggies now, y'all, you can get a package on them to make them legal in a lot of places. Mine it don't have wipers and it don't have blinkers. But now I got brake lights, I got high and low beam. I mean, it's got everything else. You got doors, it don't have roll-up windows, and I'm real sure you could probably add blinkers to it pretty easy. I don't know. I could put blinkers on it, I think. But I don't want to. Xander, how much is them batteries on Power Queen? You said you was looking at them. I pulled them up to see where the company was at. I wanted to know if it was a USA company, and I didn't even look at the price. I'm finna put a stick of wood on that far right there. It is steadily raining out here. It ain't raining hard, but it is raining. Be nice and sloppy tomorrow, but I don't think it's gonna rain enough to affect the fish biting, I hope. Backwoods Homestead said just turn your flashlight on and off a few times in a direction you want to go. You know, here's the thing. Somebody explain this for me. I can't get something like that that'll do 60 miles an hour and put it on the road and go. But a fella can get on a bicycle that ain't got a motor, ain't got a light one, ain't got a windshield, ain't got a blinker, ain't got nothing. Nothing but a pair of wheels and a chain and a seat. And he's got as much right as every vehicle on there. Now somebody explain that for me. How's that work? Ain't got to have a tag. He ain't got to buy a tagged one. It ain't got to be registered. Ain't nothing. He can get on a bicycle and ride right down the middle of the road and you got to follow him. And if you run over him, by God, you fix and go to jail. So, you know, somebody explain that. Jimmy Glenn, why don't you quit work tomorrow and just come up here and crawl in that boat with me and go fishing? You ain't been fishing in 10 years. You might as well come on and go with me. Good to see you on the live tonight, Jimmy Glenn. Philip Greer said most of the time he's peddling it with flip-flops. I'll tell you what he is going to do, by George. He's going to have on a spandex skin-tight suit. I don't care if the Lord's coming back or not. He's going to wear that regardless. And I wouldn't be caught dead in a spandex suit. I wouldn't care if I was built like Hulk Hogan. I mean, really. You really ain't gonna ever catch me in no short sleeve breeches either. I know a lot of y'all like to wear them, and I don't care if you do. You know, you wear what you want to wear. You ain't gonna catch me in no short sleeve breeches. I just, my little, it looked like toothpick stuck in the bottom of a potato. I ain't gonna do that. Y'all think about it. Oh. Jacob Doty, well, come on, son. We'll go fishing. I ain't never pushed nobody out of a boat. I don't think. I have to remember on that. End up like Tater Ledbetter, old John Thomas. Yeah, old Tater got him a moped. He did get to ride in that moped. Said this one fella said he bought him a brand new Mercedes and said he pulled out on the road and said old Tater come by on that moped. Said, boy, he was eyeballing that car. Said they pulled up to the red light. Said that boy was in that Mercedes. Said he revved the engine up, raced that engine a little bit. Said old Tater leaned over in the window there, was looking and said, boy, this show is a fine car. Said a beautiful car. And he said, yes, sir. He said, I'd sure like to have a car like this. So when the light turned green, that old boy in that Mercedes said he thought I'd just show off a little bit. Said he stomped on the gas and spun tires. And said, boy, he took off. Said he is gone. Said by the time, said he looked up in the rear view mirror and said he seen a little speck. And said it just kept getting bigger and bigger. And he said about that time, zoom, right by him. He said, good gracious alive, what was that? He said, that looked like that little old boy on that moped. He said about that time he looked ahead of him and he said, and here come that spot coming back. Said it was getting bigger and bigger. Said, whoom, said it went right back by him. He said, good gracious alive, that was that little old boy on that moped. I mean, he was getting after it when he went by. He said he looked up and here he come again. He said he was coming wide open right up behind him. He said that spot is getting bigger and bigger, and he said, wham, it just slammed into the back of that Mercedes. Oh man, it jumped out, put it in park, run back out around there, and he said, oh son, are you all right? He said, are you hurt bad? He said, is there anything I can do for you? And said, Tater looked up at him and said, yes, sir. He said, could you unhook my suspenders from your side view mirror? Kurt Twillinger, better late than never. You missed a good beaver cooking. I mean, we done deep fried beaver right down here in central Mississippi like any good redneck could do. We throwed it off in a cast iron pot full of hot grease. I mean, we did. Marshall Cruz, Roscoe, a little sore, a little stove up, but he gonna make it. He gonna be all right. He gonna live to hunt another day, eat another biscuit, riding that buggy a little more. Backwoods Homestead said he'd go full Tarzan around there in the summer, but his wife won't have it. I wonder why. Oh, Lord Jesus. If I went full Tarzan around here, I'd probably run everybody on the hill off. Wouldn't none of them come around. Back in my younger days, I used to try to do some of that roofing work with no shirt on. I'd get dark brown, but now I've done growed all of this out here in the front. I probably ain't got no business with my shirt off no more. Jeff, no, our deer season is open until the 22nd for gun and dog, and then it is primitive weapon until the 31st. So we got hunting till the end of January. But I'm done. I'm through deer hunting. I've got enough deer. The only way I'm going is if Lisa decides she wants to go, I'll take her up there and let her hunt. Or if Brody wants to go, I'll take him and let him sit. But I've got all the deer meat I need, and that is why I hunt. I don't need to keep killing deer. So beaver tail is said to be good with split peas, but I've never. Well, when I skint that, and I'm going to be honest with y'all, it ain't nothing but a big old chunk of fat. I'll tell you what I thought about. After I got to thinking about it, somebody said, oh, it's like the fat and the pork beans and all this. I think Randall Ross said that. I'll tell you where it'd be good, and that's throwed off in a pot of turnip greens. I guarantee you it'd be something other fine a while. So I got another tail down there that I ain't throwed away yet. I may peel it, and I may throw it off in a pot of collard greens. You know what I mean? Come on. I bet it'd be fine. And if it ain't, we can act like it is. We do like them big homestead channels. We just eat on it and go, oh, this is wonderful. It's perfect. Yeah, everybody do this. Them old big homestead channels is the world's worst. To get on there about something that ain't near about you know good and well ain't working worth a flip. And they on there just oh yeah, this is perfect. They got 250,000 subscribers and everybody going, oh yeah, they did it. It's got to be wonderful. I'm sitting over here going, no, hand, I film. I see where you set that camera up. You faked that. You can sell that to somebody else. Come on. Turnips and beaver tails. John Thomas is on to something there, I believe. Oh, Dave said, are you happy you joined the deer club? I am. I really am. I didn't learn it good this year as far as hunting the way I like to hunt. I would love to slip around, not have to put out corn. I mean, I like to really hunt. But let's face facts. When you go into a deer camp and everybody else is pouring corn out and everybody else is using Genco, and if you don't, them deer's going to their feeders. That's just fact, okay? So you've got to do it to pull the deer to where your hunting spot is. And especially in a year like right now where there was no acorns for them to eat, there's no natural food source. Years that we have a good acorn crop, I'll go put a stand under them white oaks. I won't pour a drop of corn out. Deer's coming to there. And I know where some of that is. I did some scouting. I've got some areas next year that I'm going to redo some things. I'm going to move some stands. I'm going to set up better. I want to get a little further from the road. I want to set up better. But overall, am I happy I joined? Yes, I'm tickled pink. Good group of guys. I have not had any bad experiences with any one person up there. Everybody has been top notch. Anybody killed a deer, hey, congratulations, good deer. Everybody's hunting a deer. In fact, this week, a boy drove up out of the club, brought a deer up here to my house. It was a giant buck. I had one picture of this deer early in the season where I first set the blind up, and then I was too close to somebody, and I wound up moving that blind because I was set up on top of where they were feeding. We didn't know it. It was just miscommunication. And before I moved with that camera I had there, I had one picture of that big buck. Well, after the hunting pressure got turned on, he got narrowed down into a little hole over there, and he was only coming out at night. Well, they all hunted him hard. I didn't get in there in those. I could have went and hunted the same stands they hunted had I wanted to, but I didn't. I chose to back off and hunt some other places and let them chase the big buck. I had one that I was hunting, and I did all right. I killed a couple of bucks up there. But one of the boys killed, really, I think he was a 12 point. I can't remember. We looked, I know he was a 10 point. I want to think, yeah, he had 2 kickers on the back. He was a 12 point. Good deer. Probably, we didn't put a tape measure on it, but at least an 18 to 19 inch spread, inside spread. They all had been hunting that deer, and he set up, I think, 8 cameras and got him down to where he was moving and set up on him and killed him the other morning. And everybody was congratulations. You know, all of them was hunting that guy. So, yeah, I'm totally happy with the hunting club, the people. Good land. There's good deer up there. So, I couldn't be more happy. I'm going to try to do better next year, set up where I can be a little more successful. But I killed what ended my season is I killed that deer in the swamp, and then my neighbor comes showing up and had a deer. And I wound up, before it was said and done, I had 3 deer in coolers. I've got more meat than I can shake a stick at. I don't need to shoot another deer. I don't care if he had a rocking chair sitting on his head. I don't have nowhere to put the meat, and there's no point in me killing stuff just to say I killed it. You know, So anyway, Jeff said, is Doug all gone? No, there's actually still some Doug in the freezer in there. We still got some Doug. I'm on this next year. I'm going to set up in some different areas up there. I'm probably going in the spring and actually plant peas and soybeans for them. Just broadcast, till up a spot over in the woods and just plant the dog mess out of it. And then sit back and wait and go back in the fall, late in the year, and replant it again. I'm not a fan of ryegrass. Wheat is okay. I think there's better stuff to plant. One thing, if you fertilize something good enough, they'll come eat it. But now, a lot of people, they'll barely put enough fertilizer on whatever they plant, and nothing really ever eats it. So, Raymond said south of 84, they got deer season of February the 15th. So, yeah, the further south you go, season goes a little longer. I don't know what that deer weighed. Which one, Dave? The one that the guy killed, the big one, it weighed a little over, I think he said 205 pounds. I think they weighed it. He took it to a processor. And this guy normally does his own deer, but he said, I done had all the meat I wanted, and I was giving this deer away, and the people that he was giving it to wanted it processed, and they were going to pay for it, so he just went and dropped it off for them. Of course, he kept his head, brought it home. Yeah, it was a big deer, big deer. Dave Rush and I looked that tree over. Most of the stuff was now in the main trunk where it split. I looked at one of the where it split. There's a big chunk strip. I may cut out and get a bow stave. Now I have got some hickory bow staves, but this would be like a section out of the huge part of that tree. When it broke over, it had a dead spot in one side when it broke, so it splintered out some good solid wood that's sticking out of there. The bark's popped off of. I could about just cut it off and start making a bow out of it. I may look and see. I don't know. I don't know. Kurt, I hadn't. Our deer don't eat turnip greens very much. They will eat them when you first plant them, and them turnip greens is about this tall. They'll come in and eat them. Once they start getting bigger, you can't hardly get them to eat them anymore. They like soybeans and peas. You plant peas, and they'll eat the leaves off every one of them, and then they eat the peas and everything else. So that's what I'm gonna lean to. Y'all, it is raining, raining, raining out here. We about done run out of stuff to talk about, y'all. I know some of y'all East Coast folks is probably about ready to hit the sack, Jack. Eric, good to see you. Thank you for joining in. We'll see you next time. Jeff Busby, we got purple hull deer. Hey, if they get my peas this year, they going down, son. I mean, they going down. So Larry, they told you that they were bitter before it frosts. Usually I find here that the greens are, once they start getting big, they start getting bitter. I don't know. It's tough to really say. I know if you plant ryegrass and wheat and you separate it, they'll eat the wheat and they won't hardly eat that ryegrass. I've seen a lot of people plant ryegrass, and I ain't never seen nothing much more than a rabbit eat it. It used to, everybody planted ryegrass. So I don't know. Richard T, good night. Thank you for watching. Well, Dave, I think we're going to go after some white perch tomorrow if the weather will permit. I've got it on my mind, hard and heavy. I still got some low butcher baits that need drowning. I've got, I don't know what all. I got several different stuff that I need. I've got some that, stunner baits that I still ain't really fished with a whole lot. So I probably need to reline my crappie pole, truth be told, but I doubt it will. But I'm planning on going up to my neighbor's pond tomorrow, and if it's blowing like it blew today, I don't want to be on Oak Tibby Lake. But they say they biting there, and then my neighbor told me that they're biting up at Tom Bigby in them deep places. I don't know much about fishing Tom Bigby, but I would love to go up there and learn up around Pratt and Pickinsville and up through there in them lakes. I'm going to learn it probably this year, hopefully. I want to take the camper up there and just set up and stay. We're going to do a lot more catfishing this year than we've done in the past, especially like throughout the summer and all. After Mr. Mike Reeves showed me that dip bait, I like that. Now, that was a lot of fun. So we're going to do a good bit more fishing if I can make it happen. I'm not going to go hog wild with the garden this year. I'm going to redo some things in the garden. We're going to definitely plant a garden. I love gardening. But I'm not going to go whole hog and just plant the whole farm this year. I fought, lost everything. Coons got in everything and ravaged it. Now, I didn't even get the corn that I planted last year. A lot of it. Jeff said, "You ever smoke any white perch?" Yes. Ugh, excuse me. So obviously, white perch is what is crappie. We call them white perch here for whatever reason. It's what we've always called them. But we Randall Hayes, good night. But anyway, I did a video where I've done them on this smoker right here, and I just smoked some crappie and some brim, and it worked really good. I may fire the smokehouse up this year if it ain't bad hot early in the spring, and see about smoking some in there, like cold smoking, and see how it works. I don't know. We can use fish traps if you purchase a commercial fishing license. I have never done that. So I'm not sure on all the laws requirements for that. So I don't know. I bet y'all all yawning now, ain't you? Say the truth. Say the truth. Well, Philip, last spring, I'm going to tell you, I did more fishing last year than I did the year before. Now, I said I wasn't going to plant as much in the garden, and I didn't plant as much. But I'm going to do even less this year because I want to fish more. The year before, I took one boat out one time and the other boat out one time. I went 2 fishing trips the year before. Last year, I took that War Eagle out several times. We went on several fishing trips last year. This year, I plan to do even more. I'd rather fish than I had work. I just ain't gonna lie about it. But I'm trying to gear my life up in a way where, like with the pottery, we was killing ourselves to get it done. And I'm fixing to lose. Phone said low battery, and I had it hot before we started. But that streaming takes a lot of juice out of it. But anyway, I don't know what to say. Anyway, I'm gonna do less gardening. I don't. We didn't put up a lot of what come in last year. I mean, time we put up what tomatoes we wanted. I had tomatoes I was trying to give away. We let tomatoes ruin. So I'm not gonna plant as much and fight as much because we don't eat. And we've not eat a lot of them this year. In fact, I never even made a stew. I planned on making a stew this fall, and we had so many funerals and different stuff got planned going on that I never had a weekend that was open and available that I could do a stew cooking here. And it's hard to cook a stew just for me and the family. I mean, we've made a couple of soups, but you use 1 jar of tomatoes in a soup. When I make a stew, I put 4 or 5 quarts of tomatoes in there. So I don't know. We may make one here in the spring before long. Who knows? But yeah, I said last year, Philip, I was going to do less gardening and wound up planting. It's hard once I start putting seed in the ground, man. I keep thinking if there's an empty spot, I need to put something in it. But now I'm going to make things easier on myself this year. I'm going to tear down all them sagging trellises I got, and I'm going to buy me some good stiff hog panels, and I'm going to put them up, or cattle panels, and I'm going to put them up to put my running stuff on, and I'm going to buy fabric and put down under my tomatoes, and that's going to solve my blight issues, and it's going to keep the grass and the weeding to a minimum. But now I got to fix my other tiller. My big tiller's still tore up, and I got to rebuild it at some point before spring. We got a spring squirrel season here, but now I very seldom ever do it because usually we got so much already going on. A lot of times I'm raising chickens. I'm probably not going to raise many chickens. I am redoing a lot of my chicken strategy. I am threatening getting me a bunch of meat birds this year and throwing them in a pen and raising them off and slaughtering them. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. We'll see if I do it or not. No, Jeff, the War Eagle, my dad actually bought it used. It was, I think he gave about $8,500 for it. It was a couple of years old when he bought it, but now it was in top notch shape. It was basically a brand new boat. It had not been used much. And my only problem with it is it's got a 25 horse motor on it. If it had about a 40 horse, I'd be good with it. But now, what I'm wanting a boat big enough to do everything I want to do on one boat, and then keep the War Eagle for the swamp and smaller areas. I'm wanting a big center console, 20-foot wide aluminum boat that I can do my frog grabbing, crappie fishing, bow fishing. As Brody gets older, I want us to get into some bow fishing. Uh, Gator hunting. We applied for gator tags this year. Obviously, we didn't get drawed, but had we have got drawed, I want to be able to go do the gator hunting. So all of that stuff I want to do. And I want one boat that I can do all of it in. Still can bass fish, catfish, crappie fish. I want it big enough to put bait tanks in it, go run all the catfish lines. This War Eagle gets bogged down when you put all your weights for your lines in there, put a bait tank full of water in it to keep your bait alive, and you just need a bigger boat. So, as much as we're going to spend on the water in the next 10 years, I want a boat that'll do everything I want to do. But now, having to buy the Honda has probably postponed that for a while. We'll see. Backwoods, I'm hoping that I don't have to water as much. In fact, I am threatening setting up drip irrigation in it and buy that tape and bury it down in the fur and cover it up, and where I can hook a water hose to it and just crack it and leave it seeping. Dave, that's about what I want. It's about a standard 6-foot wide boat. I don't want one so wide I can't pull it down the highway. But I want it as wide as my truck. I want it as wide as I can commonly get. I don't need just a monster boat, but I want enough. And I'll tell you why the room is important to me in a boat. Is filming. When I try to set that tripod or that camera up and all I can do is put it at the back and go straight, well, Brody moving around is going to be, you can't see everything going on. And with that center console, I can set that camera up pointed down with a GoPro or something. There's just a lot of camera and light options. If I could put a row of lights up there that's up shining down, well, then you can get down there and do a lot of filming at night without having to have headlights on everything going on. A lot of that is my reason for it. So anyway, we'll see when the time comes to buy one what's available. Backwoods, I figured that drip system. I've talked to several people that's run that drip system under their tomatoes, and they say if you can keep that water constant and a slow drip of water into that ground all the time, that them tomatoes, you won't have no blossom end rot problems. The tomato vines will get huge. They'll grow tomatoes big as your fist. I mean, I've just heard a lot of benefits. It's just regulated and hassle-free. So a lot of that is what I'm going to go to. I've always done my gardening in a poor man's gardening method of just using scrap, this, that, and the other, whatever I could find laying around where it didn't cost nothing. And what you wind up doing is putting twice as much work in it as if you'd just go on and buy something, spend a little money on it, and make it easy on yourself. But now I don't know what tarp and fabric I want to get. I want the cheapest I can get, but I'd rather have something once I got it that I could pull up and use for a couple of years. So we'll see. We'll see. Jeff, I doubt I'm going to part with the War Eagle. If I part with one, it's going to be the Skeeter. That Skeeter over there has got a 60-horse Yamaha on it, 2-stroke. It's a 17-foot fully decked boat. It's a nice boat, actually, and a good running boat. Don't have no trouble out of it. But if I buy the boat I want, it's the one that I won't really have a use for. I'm going to keep the War Eagle because it's the only thing I got that I can put in this swamp to run my limb lines down here. And I'm looking forward to running limb lines out of it this year. I was using the other aluminum boat last year, and it leaks bad, and tiller steer and all. It was a little difficult to operate back there. The other one with that 4-stroke, I think I can do a whole lot better with it. Nancy Pierce, good night. Y'all, I am fixing to go to bed myself, or at least go in here and get me a shower and get laid back. I got a lot I got to do tomorrow. I still got a lot of deer meat and stuff I have got to put up, and I'm going to work on that probably tomorrow night. I've got to get canning deer meat at some point, and I may get the canner going while I'm piddling around out here in the yard. I don't know. I done got to yawning myself. And it is time. We've been out here plenty long enough, y'all. Ain't no need in dragging this out no longer than necessary. But y'all, the beaver was good. We've had a good time tonight. I hope I'm able to answer everybody's questions. Y'all, if there's people asking questions and wanted to talk, recognize that I'd missed, I apologize to you. I don't do it on purpose, I promise. I love each and every one of y'all. From the bottom of my heart, as long as you don't get on here being ugly to me, I love you to death. And I don't wish nothing bad even on the people that do get on here and be ugly. And we have very little of that. In fact, the last couple of nights, I ain't seen a negative comment one. I appreciate that. That tells me y'all all wonderful people. And I couldn't do what I do without y'all. I appreciate your support. Those of you that are new, I know we got a lot of new people. In the links to every video, there's an Etsy shop. You get on that Etsy shop is where the Spirit of the Outdoors merchandise like shirts, tags, cups, a lot of that kind of stuff. It is not cups we made. All of it is made through Printify. You can buy all that there. If you're wanting pottery, there is a link in every video that goes to southernmudpottery.net. That'll take you to the pottery shop. And then I have a link to my Amazon store, which is all that is links to stuff I have used on Amazon. And I need to go in there and update it and add some stuff to it that I have recently started using it. I know I hadn't added to that shop. A lot of my fishing baits, fishing stuff, camping gear. We hadn't done a lot of camping. I'm hoping that I get to do more camping this year, but I say that every year and it just don't work out where I can. I keep too much going on. Hopefully we're going to get things reorganized to where we can do more of what we want to do, but we'll see. We play it by ear. Thank y'all for watching Spirit of the Outdoors, supporting us, buying merchandise. Everything y'all do helps us. Those of you that have tried to give to us, send us stuff, support us, y'all, I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Y'all have been overwhelmingly good to us. And I never thought as a country boy out here in the red hills of Mississippi that I'd get to film all these videos and find as many wonderful people and as much support as I have. I love you. I thank you for it. So, with all that being said, thank y'all for watching Spirit of the Outdoors. Good night. We'll see you next time. And remember, the best way to do things is the way you like to do it. We'll see y'all. Y'all have a good one. I'm going to go in here and prop my feet up. I'm probably going to grab a hold to that lever on that recliner and pull it to the sleep position. Come on.